Hey Mixers, welcome back into another NFL video. We're going to go over all the sides, totals, and spreads for week 13, and we don't have any teams on bye. So all the teams are playing. It's going to be a little bit longer video as it usually is. So let's go ahead and just get started on it. All right, guys, so I am recording this right after the 49ers game just ended. So here are all my game picks for the week. I actually did really great on the money lines, spreads, and totals. I think totals I was a little bit down. On the other two, I think I was over 50% on those. So you can see that there. And then the game bets, we were down about 1.25 units. 8 of the 10 super teaser legs hit. So if you used any of those, you probably had a good day. And then 3 out of the 5 regular teaser legs hit. The game bets were horrible. I did get my Cincinnati Bengals to cover the spread. Well, not my Cincinnati Bengals, but I bet on them, is all I'm saying. Minnesota obviously completely fell apart. Tampa Bay had no chance against the Rams, and then Carolina just got absolutely stomped by the 49ers tonight. So those were just really bad calls. Player prop wise, also didn't have a good week. By the way, last week and this week are my 2 worst weeks of the season so far this year. We're up about like 90 units total for the season. But last week I was down about 4 units. This week down about 5. So not my favorite week 2. 2 weeks in a row. Now, I went back and looked at last year as well during this same time, and I struggled for about 4 weeks during this same time period. So I'm wondering if it's just that time in the season where the bad teams decide to start losing, the good teams, are making that final push, and the usages of the players are just become a little bit unreliable because of that. Maybe that's it, or maybe I'm just tired. But either way, I struggled at this point in the season last year and this year as well. So I'm going to need to be a little bit careful moving forward into this week. Okay, so the best bets here went 4 and 6. So not great. We're still over 50% though on the player props, over 52%. Caleb Williams came through for us. Derrick Henry easily. Rome Odunze easily. Pat Freiermuth barely. That was definitely sweaty. Dallas Goedert just wasn't involved in the game plan. Christian Watson just caught one pass too short. Noah Fant, I forgot that Gesicki was coming back, and that was my bad because all of the usage went to Gesicki, who did go over his lines. Michael Wilson, 2 yards short. Jamison Williams didn't catch a single pass. And then George Pickens just 4 yards short of cashing us out there. So some close calls, but I wouldn't necessarily call them bad beats. I mean, it is what it is. All right, and then the leans didn't do well either. So we only went 2 and 3 on the leans. Javonte Williams over 17.5 first quarter rush yards. That did cash. It's at 19.5 this week, by the way. Tyjae Spears over 5.5 first half receiving yards, barely cashed because he had -5 from his first catch, and then his second catch got us up to 7. Tyler Warren barely missed for us on the full game. And then Xavier Legette just barely missed by 3 yards for us tonight. And then our bonus bet did not hit. We're still above 52. Well, we're at 52% on the leans as well. All right, touchdowns. I didn't give you any touchdowns for this week. No teams on bye, like I said, and then 4 teams on bye next week. So you can take a look at those if you want to. Obviously, it is Thanksgiving week, so keep that in mind. First one here is going to be Green Bay at Detroit on Thursday Night Football on Thanksgiving. The Packers won at home this season already in week 1, obviously kind of a beatdown of the Lions. I think they also beat them at Thanksgiving last year or 2 years ago or something like that. But in 2024, the Lions swept, so I guess it would have had to have been 2 years ago. In 2023, the away teams won, and then in 2022, the Lions swept. So Packers are scoring 20.7 points at home, 27.8 away, and allowing 24 when they play away. The Lions are scoring 33.6 at home and allowing 18.8 when they play at home. So I think it's going to be close. It might be a little bit lower than what I have here, but I have 27-24 as the score. I'm going to take Detroit on the spread and the money line as a lean. My super teaser leg for this game will be Detroit's team total over 19.5. Especially after that week 1 performance against this team, I think the Lions are going to want to come out strong here. Also, the Lions don't have a great defense necessarily, like hasn't been playing that well. So I think the Packers could probably put up some points as well. All right, Kansas City at the Dallas Cowboys. We did get our pick correct on the Cowboys on the spread last week against the Eagles, but I did not expect them to win outright, but I said that it could happen. These two teams are 1-1. The home teams won, going back to 2017 in their last two matchups. It was low scoring in Kansas City and high scoring in Dallas. This one is in Dallas, so should be high scoring based on the statistics. Alex Smith was playing as quarterback in the Dallas one, and then the other one was, let's see, yeah, it was Alex Smith and Dak Prescott in the Dallas game that was played in Dallas. Chiefs are scoring 22.2 points away and allowing 23. Cowboys are scoring 33 at home and allowing 29.4. So I don't know what that means, but I think it's going to be high scoring and fairly close. So 28-26. I'm actually going to take Dallas to win on the money line here. Dallas on the spread. These are just the leans. And then the over of 51.5. But on the super teaser, I'm going to take both teams to score 15 points. I don't know if Kansas City's defense can stop this Dallas team. And I think Dallas's defense is a little bit improved, but not the secondary. So Kansas City should be able to put up a ton of points as well. So I just think it's going to be another high-flying game, kind of like the Eagles-Cowboys score, but, where it feels more back and forth. All right, Cincinnati Bengals at Baltimore Ravens. In 2024 and 2023, the Ravens swept. So they've swept the last 4 in a row. In 2022, the home teams won, and the Bengals won in the playoffs that year at home as well. Bengals are scoring only 12 points in away games and allowing 30.6, but the Ravens are only scoring 22.8 at home and allowing 23.7. So I think it's going to be close. I think 24-21. I think Cincinnati has a chance to win. That's what I said last week against the Patriots as well. I took the Patriots on the money line, but the Bengals on the spread. This time I'm just going to go full Bengals. So Bengals on the money line, Bengals on the spread, and the under of 51.5. The Bengals could have a chance basically to come in and ruin the Baltimore Ravens playoff chances with this one game. And I think that that's what they're going to try to do, whether Joe Burrow's back or not. So my super teaser leg is going to be Cincinnati on the spread plus 14.5. But I will bet the regular spread, and I'm going to sprinkle on the money line just a tiny, tiny bit. All right, Chicago at Philadelphia on Black Friday. The Eagles have won the last 6 straight head-to-heads going back to 2013, and Caleb has never played the Eagles, and I think it's going to be rough for him. So I think the Eagles win this one going away. Eagles on the money line, Eagles on the spread, under 44.5, and I think this is the first time this season, or maybe only the second time, that Caleb Williams and the Bears do not get over their team total of 19.5. Well, their team totals, I don't know what their team total is, but 19.5, they've been able to get over that number almost every single week. We've been betting it almost every single week. But I'm not betting that this week. So in the super teaser, I will take just the Eagles money line because that price fits in with my super teaser prices. I try to price each leg between 300 and 400, like minus 300 and minus 400, to try to get a decent payout at the end. All right, Jacksonville at Tennessee. I am back on the Jaguars train. You don't have to come with me, but I'm not getting on the Titans train again, even though they've covered the spread in 2 straight games. And yes, like last week against a really good Seattle team. So Jaguars have won 5 out of the 6 most recent head-to-heads. Titans won the 5 in a row before that. So it's clearly like a streak here, like which team is better, and that's clearly the Jaguars. So Jaguars are scoring 24.3, and they are allowing 29.3 on the road. Titans are only scoring 18.2 at home, though, and allowing 29.7. So I'm going to say 27-17. Titans can score, but not enough to keep it close. So we'll take Jacksonville on the money line, Jacksonville on the spread, and the over of 41.5. I'm going to throw Jacksonville's money line in a money line parlay, most likely. And I'm going to take the Tennessee team total under 23.5, which could burn me, but I just don't think they can get up that many points. And this Jacksonville defense has had a lot of takeaways, a lot of interceptions this year. Even though Cam Ward has been pretty careful about throwing those, actually, considering his situation. All right, Houston at Indianapolis. I think a lot of people are looking forward to this one, myself included. I'm kind of, I wouldn't say like the Colts are my team. I don't really have a team. I grew up in a family that's not really a football family, and there's no local team anywhere close. And I didn't really get super deep into football until maybe 10 years ago or so. So, yeah, I don't really have like a strong loyalty to any team, but I have always liked the Colts because I've liked Peyton Manning since the beginning. Um, and so, yeah, I have a soft spot for the Colts. It's nice to see them doing well also because I have been supporting them throughout these past couple of years where they have not been doing well. Anyway, the Texans ruined their playoff hopes a couple of years ago in CJ Stroud's, I think it was his rookie year, when they went to the playoffs, and it was the Colts' own fault. But anyway, sorry, get off the Colts soapbox for a second here. Texans have won 4 out of the last 5 head-to-heads, and the Colts won 4 straight before that. So the Texans are scoring 24.2 at home, but only 19.6 away, and they're only allowing 16.5 home or away. But the Colts are scoring 34.2 at home, and they're allowing only 16.6 at home. So both of these defenses are going to be good, supposedly, according to these statistics, and the scoring edge should go to the Colts. So I'm going to say 24-17 is the score. I'm going to take Indianapolis on the money line, Indianapolis on the spread, and then for the under the 44.5, I put 41.5 here, but I meant to, like, that's what this score adds up to. I meant to put under 44.5, so I'll fix that. And then in the super teaser, I'm just going to tease the Colts through 0, get the hook, and take plus 3.5 here. All right, New Orleans at Miami. I hate this game. I don't want to bet this game, but I think it could actually end up being okay for player props. The home teams each lost in 2021 and 2017. Now Miami's the home team, but I don't think they're going to be losing this one. Saints are only scoring 15 points and allowing 28.4 on the road. Dolphins are scoring 23.4 and allowing 24.5. So I think 24-17, like fairly close, but I think Dolphins and then Dolphins to cover the spread, and then the under of 42.5. Even though the score I put here, I guess it adds up to 41, so that's perfect. For the super teaser, I'm going to do the Miami team total over 17.5 here against the Saints. All right, Atlanta at the New York Jets. I think this one's going to give people the most fits this week of like trying to figure out what they want to bet. For me, it's easy. I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons. I am a little biased towards the Atlanta Falcons. So just kind of how I was talking about the Colts. I wouldn't say I like the Falcons as much as I like the Colts, but I used to cheer like for one team in each division back in the day, and the Falcons were my team for the NFC South. So I have a soft spot for the Falcons. I've been wanting them to win. They have Bijan and Drake London, 2 of the best players in the game, and I've been wanting them to win this division for a couple years now, and they just cannot do it and get out of their own way. So I'm taking the Falcons. It might be a little emotional, but that's what I'm doing. But I do think somehow, somewhere, the Jets keep it really, really close, and so I'm taking the Jets on the spread, but I'm not betting any of this, remember. And then I'll take the under 39.5 as a lean. I just think the Atlanta Falcons, with the Panthers losing, the Falcons actually are still in this division. Like they could still win this division, which is crazy to think about. So I will take Atlanta through 0 on a teaser to plus 6.5, and hope that the Jets just are wanting to lose, which that's what it appears to me from the way they played last week when they were leading, and then kind of like let that lead slip away. I think that they don't want to win any more games. All right, Arizona at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs won the last 2 head-to-heads, which were both very close games, and then the Cardinals won the 3 before that. So the Cardinals are scoring, 22.5 and allowing 24.2 on the road. The Bucs are scoring 26.8 at home and allowing 26.3, but are they going to not have Baker Mayfield? So they're going to have Bucky Irving most likely and Chris Godwin, but they need Baker Mayfield, obviously. So I'm still going to lean with them. So I know it's rough taking the Buccaneers as favorites. I've just taken the Buccaneers 2 weeks in a row, and that has not worked out for me against the Bills and against the Rams. So I'm going to take them again against the Cardinals here. I think the Cardinals might want to lose this game anyway. Clearly, their division is lost. They cannot win it, and they can fight for a better draft pick here. So Tampa Bay on the money line, Tampa Bay on the spread -2.5, under 44.5. And then I will take Tampa Bay through 0 to plus 5.5 on the spread for the super teaser. All right, Minnesota at Seattle. This one's a little bit wonky. Like I feel like the Minnesota Vikings if they had a competent quarterback, could actually win this game. But they don't have a competent quarterback, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to lean with Seattle, but the spread is too much for me. The Titans just covered this. So I'm going to take the Vikings on the spread, under 41.5. And I'm going to take both teams to score 10 as the super teaser leg. So just both teams to get to 10 points. I don't know if the Vikings can do it, but I hope they can. Maybe they get something in garbage time to come through. Also, obviously, this is Sam Darnold going back up against his former team who let him go. But, it's kind of mutually beneficial. I think he wanted to make more money somewhere else anyways. All right. Buffalo at this Pittsburgh Steelers. Bills have won 4 out of the last 5 head-to-heads, and I think the Steelers are live to win this one, but I also think the Bills get back on track and try to win their division here. So, Josh Allen's going to put on the superhero cape, and maybe that's enough to get it done against the Steelers, and maybe it's not. So I will take Buffalo on the money line, Pittsburgh on the spread. I imagine it's going to be a very, very close game. And then under 47.5. And I will take both teams to score 15 points in this one as the super teaser leg. All right, Las Vegas at the Chargers. This one obviously has implications for the wild card game. Chargers need it, and Raiders don't really need it. But it's a division game, so they're going to get up for it for sure. So Chargers won this year already once. The Chargers swept in 2024 season. In 2023 the home teams won, and in 2022 the home teams won. But we know that the Chargers don't really have much of a home field advantage, especially where this team, the Raiders team, used to be in California as well. So there's going to be a lot of Raiders fans there at that game. I just think I'm still taking the Chargers. I will take the Raiders on the spread because that's a big number. And I don't know. The Chargers are maybe getting Omari and Hampton back. And if that's the case, they should run all over these Raiders. But if Shedeur Sanders can do it, then I think the Chargers can as well. Max Crosby's got to be tired after fighting for nothing, no reason, being on the field the whole game, basically, in the last one. All right, for the super teaser, I'm going to take the total under, I'm going to take the total up and then go under. So the under 50.5 is what I got. All right, Denver and Washington here. Denver wants this win, obviously. They're playing for the number 1 seed in the AFC, which I think they can get it, actually. Anyway, they're 1-1 over the last 2 games, going back to 2021. Both of those games were in Denver. Broncos are scoring only 26.2 points at home and only 20 away, and they're allowing 19 away. The Commanders are scoring a little bit better, 24.4 at home, but allowing 26.9. So I think it's actually going to be closer than people think. I don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to play. I don't really care. I wouldn't play him if I was the coach. But 23-21 is the score I'm seeing here. Denver on the money line, Washington on the spread, and the under 43.5. And for the super teaser, we'll take the Denver team total under 31.5, which I know seems dangerous, but I didn't like anything else. I guess you could take Denver on the money line instead to just win the game. And I think that's fine too. So either one of those I'm fine with. The price is good for a teaser, for the super teaser. All right. San Francisco 49ers at the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are 2-1 in this series, and they've won twice at home and lost once in San Francisco. And I don't know if you guys remember a couple of years ago, I think this Browns team handed them their first loss when were having a really good season. So the 49ers are not scoring that well this year. They're only scoring 20.8 points at home, 25.4 away, slightly better away. But they're allowing just as many, 22.9. Browns are scoring 19 at home, but only allowing 14 at home. So I think this game does end up being a little bit closer. I'll say 24-21, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit lower than that. San Francisco to ultimately win the game. And then I'm going to be betting heavily on the Cleveland spread because I have a long-term ticket for the San Francisco 49ers, and they basically need to win the rest of their games for me to cash it. So I need them to win this game. So this is my way of hedging. I'm going to be betting the spread against all the teams that play against them so that I can kind of win that entry fee back if that bet does not cash, because it was a fairly significant one. that I made before the season started. So for the super teaser, I'm going to take Cleveland plus 14.5 on the spread. All right, LAR versus CAR. We just saw Carolina get curb stomped by the 49ers, but I actually think that the Rams could let them hang around and just play at a slower pace. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe they just crush them. But I'm going to take Carolina on the spread 10.5, but barely. So I think 27-17 for the score, and Rams on the money line, no contest. I don't see the Panthers winning this one. And they're probably done with after that loss against the 49ers. I don't know if they can pick up the pieces and actually make a division run or not. But the Buccaneers are falling apart. The Falcons always shoot themselves in the foot, so maybe. Anyway, I'll take the under 56.5. So I'm going to take that total up and then take the under here. All right, New York Giants at New England. They're 1-1 in the series over the last 2 games, and the home team's won both times. The home team is New England here, and they're also the better team. Giants are scoring 22 and allowing 30.9 points away. Patriots are scoring 26.5 and allowing 18.8. So I'm going to say 21-17, maybe 24-17, 27-17. I don't really see the Giants getting over 17, but I saw Jackson Dart props on some sites, but I don't know if that's been confirmed that he's going to be the starter. I'll take New England on the money line, the Giants on the spread, and the under of 46.5. For the super teaser, I'm going to go under 55.5, and I'm going to bet this total outright, just the regular total, under the 46.5. All right, so here's the super teaser. There's 16 legs. You should be able to get 4,600 to 5,000, plus 5,000 on this if you bet all 16 legs. And you can just pick and choose what you like. We've been really good on the super teaser legs. I think we've only missed by 1 or 2 in the past 3 weeks that we've done it. So take a screenshot of that if you care. And then the game bets that I'm making is Cincinnati at Baltimore plus 7. And then I'm going to take Cincinnati on the money line, just like a small sprinkle. And then the Giants at New England under the total of 46.5. And then I'm also doing a little money line parlay plus 246 down here. Philadelphia hosting Chicago, Jacksonville Jaguars at Tennessee, Denver at Washington Commanders, and then the one that gave us all that juice is Atlanta at the New York Jets. That is the one that a lot of people aren't going to want to bet on, but I'm just telling you, Atlanta needs this game, and the Jets want to lose. So I think somehow, those things combine for an Atlanta win here. So that's what I got for you in the football slate for this Thanksgiving weekend. I hope you have a good holiday. If you haven't been watching my basketball videos, we're crushing it. We just had a 5-0 sweep today on my 3 best bets, plus I gave 2 plus money bets, and those also hit. So yeah, 5-0 sweep on basketball today. It was fantastic, kind of helping to bail me out from these bad football weeks. The past 2 football weeks in a row, like I was talking about earlier, have not really been very good for me, -4 units and -5 units. So hopefully we can make a little bit of a turnaround for the player props this week. One that I will give you, one that I've already bet, and that is Cairo Santos, the Bears kicker, over 2 field goals. Well, over 1.5 field goals, so 2 field goals made. I just think that he's done it in every single away game, and then also I just think the Eagles' defense is good enough that they're going to force the Bears to kick some field goals that they're not used to having to kick. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for watching the video. As usual, just like the video, comment, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll put you in for the cash giveaway. You can either choose the moneyline parlay here at plus 246, or you can choose the spread and the total together. They both have to hit. So let me know which one you like the best. All right, thanks.